Cooper's Automotive, we've got a 2005 Jaguar X Type here, and the alternators not charging. Power and grounds to our alternator are in good shape. So I'm going to show you how we are going to replace this compressor. See, I'm pulling off the AC compressor to get the alternator out through the bottom. I've evacuated all the Freon out of the system. You may or may not have to evacuate the Freon out, but we have the equipment, so I pull the lines, get the thing out of the way, and get our alternator off of here. So let's get started. Stay tuned. All right, obviously, first thing you want to do is disconnect your battery. That's done. Second, right up here is a 10mm manifold hose to your AC. And you're going to want to take that off after, obviously, your Freon's out. If you're going to do it with taking the manifold off, that is. You can see these bolts right here, and they're probably 13, 12, something like that. I'm going to pry the manifold back a little bit. And after you get that bolt out of it, that's the 10. Let's see what these others are. I'm going to guess at a 13. And they are 13. And there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I do believe there's going to be 4. Now the top ones, we're going to need a ratchet. I'm going to go ahead and take the manifold bolt completely out because it had a notch in it and you could actually slide the lines up. I'm going to take out that 10mm right there. Grab a 13 short socket and a ratchet. I've loosened the bottom ones, but I'm going to take the top ones completely out first. Now I actually don't even see the front one closest to the pulley, but I do feel it. I was hoping I could get lucky and twist it with my hand, but that didn't work out. Might be able to do it now. It kind of hurts your hand against the metal when you're grabbing it. About this time normally I'd switch to a 1/4 inch ratchet, fine tooth. The biggest thing to not getting angry for me when working on something is to keep yourself from getting mad and being able to take your time. Nice thing about being an owner, you don't have to worry about rush, flat rate, and all those crazy kind of things anymore. You know, we still want to do things in a timely manner, but at this age I am today, more important to me to stay calm. Besides, getting mad, throwing things, kicking things, doesn't make it any better anyway. We all know that. I'm not going to tell you I don't always keep my cool, because I don't. Sometimes I'll be shooting a video, in fact, and I'll get pissed off, and because I got mad, I don't post it. Maybe somebody else can post their mad videos, but I'm not going to. I'm not promoting Mad TV. Looks like the top one on that side's going to stay in there. I'm just looking for the plug for the compressor, and I see or feel it. I don't see it that well. There, I pushed the tab and released it. Now let's get the bottom too. Jaguar is not my favorite car to work on, or Mercedes, or any of those. All right, what's holding us? We had one today on a Kia, heavy vibration, and put it in reverse. Sometimes accelerating really fast, and the AC bolt was backed out, one of them, touching against the cradle, engine cradle. So we got our compressor out. Just set that down on the ground. Let's see what we got to do to get our alternator on out of there. All right, so looking up through there, alternator bolt right there, and there'll be one on top. We'll slide this compressor out the bottom is the way this should work. Let's find out how true that's going to be. Working right up there. It's going to be a 10. stripped tin at that. So obviously the other one's up top. I don't quite see it at this angle. We got that 10 mil out. Let's find out where the other one's at. My neck is killing me today. Now I think we may just for fun remove the belt tensioner. Let's pause and see what we got to do next. Okay, the car's down and back up top. Just because I want to, I'm going to remove this and see if that gives us some more room. The top bolt's right underneath this coolant hose right here. I don't know if I have to take this plastic bracket that comes across the back of it. I'm just trying to see it. I see it. I'm going to see if I can run a long extension up underneath there with a swivel socket. Probably would. I'm going to get this air filter box out of the way. After all, it might be a better angle. I got a little vent hose that's going there that's coming across our air filter housing a little bit. There might be another 10 millimeter in this thing, or it may just be pressed in there, or there may be one underneath the bottom of it. So it's Phillips screws across the top and take a look. No, I have not done one of these before. On a Jaguar anyway. So I'm sure after I do this one, I'll know a secret. We got two X-Type Jaguars in here today. And a Mercedes. And a Mini Cooper. It's Euro Day. I know somebody tie strapped that to the intake there. And I might end up taking the top radiator hose off. I just hate antifreeze spilling all over the floor if I can at all help it. There's their tie strap. Unplugging our mass airflow sensor. I can never squeeze these things hard enough anymore. And just a rubber push on the bottom, holding this bottom housing in. Better safe than sorry on that. Then you have two hoses coming into the front that are just clipped in there. Let's see here. Usually those things just slide right off of there, so we'll just try a screwdriver. Get the little fresh air intakes off. Cool. Okay.
I just took one off that one, that's why.
Did you? Okay, you worked on the other X-Type Jaguar. Take these two screws off from the inside. So I was right in taking off the air filter to look down inside there. Oh. What do you got going on with that Mini? What's going on with that Mini? There's one bolt comes across the top and they run it through this way, and I'm hoping, this piece.
These forward. I'll take these four off. Actually, that goes. The other one's fine.
I know. They bolt them up, man. All right, a little bit further. This is bolted on. Let's see how it hooks down there. Like I said, I do not want to take that out of there. I am doing my best. All right, without any further ado, messing around, they put the hose clamp straight down on the bottom of that. So it'd be better to take the top hose off. But since they put the clamp straight down on the bottom, makes it very difficult to get to. I'm going to cut it and put a new clamp on it. Now, being careful, hopefully being careful, I don't cut through the hose. I'm going to use my little die cutter and do that and see how it works out. So much for no antifreeze across us here. All right, let's see if I can break it at that point. Not quite. Part of the reason for not prying on the plastic is I didn't want to break the plastic. But it appears to be sliding a little bit. If you break that plastic piece, you are in trouble. It would have been easier if they'd have just put the clamp straight up so we could get to it. That's probably good because we've got it broken. Get it out of there. All right, so we got a pan underneath catching most of that antifreeze. And now we will be able to get to that bolt as soon as that coolant quits running out of there. So I'll pause until that stops and then we will go after it. All right, the antifreeze stopped running. I broke it loose. I'm reaching my hand through here, taking this out. It is a 13 mil. Labor guide said 2.5 hours on this. Well, again, trying to keep the camera angle so I don't reach around another way. And we still got the battery wire and the rectifier plug to get out. All right, so we got the long bolt out. Now if I break it loose and move it, I can probably get that battery wire off of there since we've got the bottom one out. If I can get behind it. That's not working out. Let's think about something else then. It's very tight in there. So I'm going to take a hammer and a long punch and I'm going to try to knock it down a slight bit and see if it will move without being too crazy. Something stuck to the bottom of my shoe. All right. Since that don't seem to be working, we'll think some more, because I know there's no more bolts in it. Let's see if I can pry against that pulley with a longer pry bar. Get it to swing, get it to move, get it to do something. It is moving back and forth a little bit. You would think that it would just come out of there, but it's that bushing is pressed up in there tight on this one side. Alright, we won't patty cake it anymore. She's moved a little bit. I can see the bushing right there. There, that worked. That knocked it out. The alternator dropped. And now we can see our rectifier plug down there. And our battery wire. Reached in with one hand, I've got it unplugged. I think a long ratchet and a 13 mil on that should get that out of there. Or long extension and a ratchet. Alright, the battery wire is 13 mil is off. And it's just balancing our alternator up a little bit. Now it's out. Let's take it up and see if we have some success of pulling that alternator out the bottom. Okay, so we got the car back up in the air. You can see the alternator's hanging right here. And it's out. Let's lay it off to the side. And let's go get our other one. And I'm just going to stick it back up in there and then let it down and start connecting everything back up top. So that's where you'll see us. There's what you see, the back of the alternator sticking up right there. Right here is the battery wire. Reversing that boot so that you can get your nut back on. Pushing it down in there. Let's see if we got some success of getting that back on there without too much trouble. Probably going to see my back for a minute. Well, I'm gonna pause because I got to get in front of that camera. All right, so after you get that with a 1/4 inch ratchet and a 13 down through here, tighten your nut on top of that alternator for your battery. Then you're gonna have to reach down there and grab a hold of your regulator plug, get it positioned to get it plugged in. Make sure that you get your battery wire lined up in the correct position. Also, and I'm just gotta get a light down here a little closer. All right, let's see what we're fighting here. We're dealing with here a little bit. Now, wouldn't this suck if this was the wrong alternator? But it is not the wrong alternator. It's just being hard to plug in. See anything in our plug that would be preventing us from plugging this sucker in. Looking at my old one. All right, so the tab is in a different spot than I thought. Sorry about that knock. That's a nice thing about having the old one around. Now, make sure we push it all the way down. I'm just going to use a long screwdriver and get on top of it. Make sure it's locked in. All right, it's all the way down. Now that we've fought through that, we'll lift it up and try to get our bolt started. If we can't do this without help, then we'll get help. We're hanging on our battery wire there a little bit. We might use that to help pull us up. Wow. I am going to stop, get help, person underneath holding it up, and get the through bolt. Okay, had my other tech help me. It's not easy. Once you get it lined up and get your 13 in there, that's going to be the hardest part. The bottom one to start it to help us guide us to where we need it to go. I'm using a 1/4 inch in my 13 mil long extension back behind the water outlet here. There we go. Pulling that bushing back in. Now I'm going to stop and grab the 13 long gear wrench right here in the front. Got it. Now we got to go underneath and tighten the 10 millimeter that's down there. So we'll take it back up and finish underneath. Okay, so the Jaguar is up and we're starting underneath the bottom, and we are getting our bottom 10 millimeter bolts tightened up. Then we'll be putting our AC compressor in. Oh, a little different angle. I thought I could get to it with that. And I probably could if I really wanted to. Okay, let's slip on some gloves here because I got so many cuts on my hands right now. Now we got our compressor, and it's really filthy, but it is what it is. And see if we can sneak the sucker back up in here. Just leave it hang right there because we got to get all of our bolts pushed up through the top and the bottom of it. Oh, trying to keep this camera wise good, but knocking our camera around as I'm trying to do this. Let's see here, get the other two bolts in my hand. And this darn light is right in the way of me working. Let's push that back. Got that one in there. We're dripping oil all over me. Dye and oil from the AC compressor. Oh. I believe the back one is able to get in there with it up in there. I sure hope so. Let's find out. Let's start this one just a little bit. And that one just a little bit. We're gonna let that one go to voicemail. Video, it makes it so tough because you try not to hit your camera, but yet you're trying to get the job done and you're trying to get everybody to see what you're doing. And it's almost next to impossible in some cases. And in this case, I got to change camera angle. I'm sorry, but there is just no way to shoot that and me be able to do the job. So, got our bolts started, 4 long ones. Very long ones. Obviously our very, very top ones. I'm going to see how this belt's working out here for a second. Okay. Well, I have to figure out my routing. I don't quite have that correctly. Okay. All right, I got to stop and talk to a customer. Be right back. All right, so all four of the bolts in the AC compressor. We got the manifold bolt on. And to plug it in, you can reach through the fender well and grab the wire to plug the AC compressor back in. Now, I don't know. Oh, that's weird. Okay. I don't know if we can start that. Oh, hang on. Okay, I've been interrupted many times, so I apologize. And I've had to move forward in between stuff. So we got the compressor in, the manifold in, all the bolts, the belts on it. All right, your belt routing. Right there's your belt routing to get your belt on. Now we got to go up top, put on the upper hose, and start it up, connect the battery, see what we got. All right, hopefully we're into the conclusion of this job. Hose clamp on this upper hose, regular type. Get this thing back on here. We got to put our air filter and all those things back on. I'm going to check and make sure it's charging and that our alternator is working, of course. There we go. The part number on that alternator was a 213-9573. It's a Napa, of course. And yeah, got this piece to slide back in here. We got this piece to set back on here. Let's get our Phillips screws here. I'm just trying to get going before my battery is about to go dead on my camera. So the main thing is I'm wanting you to see that it's charging and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to skip ahead and not show all this buttoned up right now. Just more or less get it hung in here. And then I'll come back after the video is completed and button it up. With the tight net cable, we'll put that air filter, all that stuff on. All right, let's start it up and see. I want to tighten that up before I do that. Like a million things on my mind. It is very difficult to shoot videos, be the business owner, and when everybody wants to talk to you, and be the mechanic. All those things, but hey, that's why we do it. All right, I'm gonna fire it up. All right, she's running. The alternator battery light is out, which is a good sign. Just had that thing touching a little bit. Let's hook up this meter right here and show you the voltage. Just going to do a voltage check. She is really charging, maybe a little too much, 15.2. It's a little bit on the high side. She hasn't been charging correctly for a while, so she may balance out. So your 2005 Jaguar X Type alternator replacement. Alternator light was on, alternator light's out, and I showed you the voltage and she's charging. So we've got a fix. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Make your comments. I know this was a little scatterbrained video, and your likes, your dislikes, whatever it is, I will reply to any comments. Thank you.